Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Hugging My Chaos. Today, we have our favorite guest, Naomi Meraz, and she's part of the book club that we're reading The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People or The Seven Habits of Highly Effective Teens. And we're going to be talking about habit number two, have an end goal in mind. Part one, we're already focused about the power of mission statements, which mission statements are basically a constitution for yourself, something that you follow, like some values that you follow throughout your life. And we already established that. But today, I want to talk about the power of visualization, affirmations, vision boards. That's why I thought it was important to bring Naomi Meraz because she knows all about that stuff. So, Naomi, how are you?
Doing good. I'm really excited to start to talk about these really good and powerful techniques to just basically be better people. And yeah, I'm really happy. I know that these different types of rubric, whether it's visualization, affirmation, vision boards, all of those things have really changed my life, my mindset, and just my ability to show up as a better human. So
I know I've
yeah.
seen it. That's why I was like, she's the perfect person to ask this. Stephen Covey talks about how I already mentioned this, but Stephen Covey talks about how like the power of mission, having a mission statement, basically having creating a plan that follows your that is true to your values, to your inner principles, to your inner values. But he also mentions that it's important to like program your mind according to that need, to meet that need. So I want to ask you something. What's the power of visualization? Because he talks about the power of visualization, but like, how would you explain visualization to me?
Yeah, so visualization is super, super powerful. I think it's been one of like the major catalysts that have really transformed my life. So basically, I would say visualization is a very intentional way of bringing a picture or image in your mind that really aligns with your desires, your goals, your dreams, your higher self, basically. It's like being able to channel that energy and take the time, whether you're in meditation or you're just like sitting still or even walking or anything, and starting to form this really specific visual mental image of what it is I want, whether it's like a career or a relationship, your future self. Maybe you want to go somewhere. Maybe in 10 years you visualize yourself, you know, helping millions of people or creating a brand or a product. It's like really getting intentional and trying to bring emotion and really meditating on what it is you want and getting as specific as possible, right? So I would say that it's really extremely powerful because of all of the ways that you are bringing your sensory emotions to it and making it feel as real as possible. Because the thing is, with some studies that I've done as well, our mind can't really differentiate whether you are just thinking something and like feeling it in your mind versus actually seeing it. So I took a psychology course last semester, and my professor was talking about how our minds and basically when we go back to really traumatizing moments in our childhood, for example, or our past, our body receives it as if it was happening right now, and it relives it over and over. That like physiological aspect of it. So we can use that to basically serve for a higher good and to actually alchemize how we mentally perceive our future. So by doing that, it's extremely powerful. I know I have been able to manifest a lot, whether it be through visualizing like yoga sessions or podcasts or traveling, certain jobs I've wanted. So it's extremely powerful. And I would say that just by making it your own, getting specific, not holding too much tension on it, but just kind of flowing and relaxing the body and asking yourself, what is it that I really want? And getting as specific mental image as you can, like a movie in your mind. But yeah, hopefully that answers your question.
How does visualization align with actually like taking action? Because most of the when it comes to visualization, I have a struggle of understanding how visualizing something is helpful because in my like rational mindset I'm like, no, you have to take action and then just go for the goal. But I've heard a lot of times that visualization helps you reach those goals. How though? Like how would you find the perfect connection between visualization and actually achieving the goals that you set?
Yes. That's a really good question. I love that question because a lot of people confuse this with kind of like this blindsided, delusional kind of like, oh, I'm manifesting. Like, I just visualize a Ferrari and it's outside, you know what I mean? But it's not like that at all. It's very much visualization and action. So I would say that there's a good balance between being able to take time and just getting still and visualizing what it is I want and what I dream of and using your sensory emotions, but also taking daily steps, taking daily actions. So I would say journaling your visualizations, journaling what you want, and really getting specific and honest with yourself to what you can do to actually create those visualizations because like I said, you can't just kind of like magically bring this paradise and this oasis of your higher self here unless you're actually taking those daily steps in action and being authentic and aligning your visualizations with what you want. So, some ways I do this, for example, like let's say like my future, right? I really want to be like a holistic entrepreneur, creating my own business, being able to host online, coaching sessions and Reiki, yoga, all kinds of things, right? So the way I do this is I visualize it, I feel into it, I feel into my body, using my breath, and I get specific, I'm like, whoa, like I'm so grateful, like I'm already here, and I really just try to get as specific as possible as, what am I wearing, how am I talking, all these things, right? And then once I get very specific and I've created this whole beautiful little film in my mind, I ask myself, okay, like what baby steps can I do today to actually bring that into reality? Whether it be like, you know, joining an online course on how to be a good leader or speaking, um, taking the initiative to actually learn, reading books, hosting actual live sessions where I might not have that huge audience yet, but I'm taking those baby steps to actually create a foundation and a community and just going for it. You can't just continue to visualize every day and then just hope and pray that one day it'll magically appear, but actually aligning and taking initiative to what you are visualizing is super important. So I'd say baby steps and getting specific and being true to what you're visualizing versus what you're actually doing.
So using visualization as like the imagery to keep you going, like, oh, I'm gonna get there, I know I'm going to get there,
Mm-hmm.
however I have to take these steps in order to get there, but I already know that in the future I'll have this, right?
Yes. Yeah, and sending so much gratitude to it too. I feel that when we externalize it and it's like, oh, this future self or this future me and something away from me or a part of me, that's when it starts to kind of feel very loose ended or almost like you can't feel it. You feel like untethered or something like that, right? So I feel like when you're able to bring it here and align your frequency and your energy to it and sending gratitude as if it was already here, that's when the true magic starts to shift and you already feel like the sense of, well, like this is here right now and I'm already fully worthy of receiving it and I just have to take the initiative and the action and the courage to step out there, even if you fail. So, yes.
Wow, okay, there's so many questions I want to ask you, but how do you connect with the present thinking of the future, like how do you align those two? Because you just said that it's
Okay.
important like to know that you already have it, but like in my rational mind I'm like, okay, but how do you like connect them both? Because you're not in that mansion, I guess, but like in your mind you
Mm-hmm.
think that you already are. So my M fell off. But how do you connect
Yeah.
them? How do you bring the future into your present?
Mhm. Yeah, so I love this question because I feel it's really easy to get lost
Mhm.
in, this future or even your past, like, oh, like I want it, like I want to be there, like this over attached urge to just be somewhere other than here.
Mhm.
So I love this question, and I think that a lot of people tend to get lost or they wait for a day to finally feel happy or oh, I'll finally, feel free or feel good when I reach that place.
Mhm.
And I feel like that's when people get lost or they get depressed or they get stuck in this loophole because they're over attached to this future. But at the same time, being able to stay present is basically our key to happiness, right? Is being able to stay present, stay here, stay now. So by balancing staying in the present and visualizing your future, I think it's this fine line of being able to meditate and being in the present moment and actually take intentional time to visualize your future. So what I do is I like to have like specific moments, whether it be like in my morning, like spiritual practice routine, or at nighttime, or let's say like I'm in nature or something like that. My body and my physical senses are in the present, but at the same time, I'm like, I have this intentional mindset where I'm like, okay, like for the next 10, 15, 20 minutes, um, I'm going to take some time to visualize and to feel into my body and breathe as if all of my desires and all my goals and dreams were already here. So I feel like that's a good way to help to ground it into the moment while staying present. And then once I'm kind of done with this little meditation, or maybe I'm walking, maybe my eyes are open, but I set an intention to say, okay, like my visualization is done. And then I start to walk in the present, in the future. But it is hard, it's very much easier said than done. All the time I still will be doing something or I try to stay present and I'm like, oh, I gotta do this, oh, I gotta do that, I gotta do this. It's like it's part of the human mind, it's like that monkey mind always trying to go, go, go. So there'll be times where I meditate and I am just present and I am just feeling into my body. But other times I'll have that intentional um, just focus on what it would feel like and what it would look like to actually be in that whole holistic sense of, well, like I am what I look like, I am what I feel like, where I live, how I speak, how I breathe and move. So it's really taking that initiative to set those blocks of time and remembering to stay present and be grateful for this moment because it's all that we have and it's all that exists. So hopefully, like, it's takes practice, but it's definitely never perfect. I know I catch myself all the time. Well, I'm like, okay, I should be present or I should be meditating. And it's like, oh, I got to do this. I got to do that. I got to do this. So it takes practice and it gets easier over time. But I would say it's like letting go, like feeling unattached, but feeling connected and feeling into all of those emotions like, oh, wow, like I already have it. And I'm going to move and breathe with gratitude and taking baby steps there while at the same time remaining grounded. So,
Wow, it's a whole
and
math. It takes time.
right?
It takes
Yeah,
time. Yeah.
no. And yeah, I think it takes time, but it's just, yeah, it's just by having those experiences and taking those daily steps, I guess. But it's part of the human experience, I guess.
I like that. Yeah, being intentional. I like that. I'll try to remember that. Okay. Stephen Covey also talks about the power of affirmations, which is kind of related to visualization, but I want you to answer two questions. What's an affirmation and why are they important in our lives?
Mhm. Yes, okay. So affirmation is so beautiful and so powerful. I think this is probably one of the beginning parts of my rewiring of the mindset. So basically, I would describe affirmation as these positive phrases or mantras, words, or sentences that help us to basically align what we want to change about our blockages or mental limitations, our negative self talk. So, I would say that, for example, like let's say that I'm struggling with confidence or self esteem. It's hard for me to be able to, go in a room full of people without feeling like, oh my gosh, everyone's looking at me. So I would make an affirmation for myself like, I am confident and I walk my path with grace and I step into a room with courage or something like that. Or it can be as simple as I am courageous. I am confident. I am so grateful that I have the willingness to show up as myself without the need to please others or something along those lines. So it's a super super powerful way to use words as this alchemization into who we want to be and rewiring those negative self talk and that subconscious kind of programming that we have from our past, from our traumas, from our childhood, and actually just being able to have that consistency to actually speak it into reality. Because at first it might not feel
Mm-hmm.
real. It feels like you're lying to yourself in a way,
Yeah.
like, oh, I am confident, or I am this, I am that. But the more that you start to speak it and you actually take the baby steps to walk that path, that's when the true magic and the true change starts to unfold in some way. So,
Yeah, and actually,
yeah.
neuroscience has proven that affirmations literally rewire your neurons. They create new patterns, which is pretty like amazing to see. Like if you look at some neuro like how the neurons move with everything that you like every conversation that you have, every movie that you watch, music, everything rewires your mind, and it's creating a neuron. You know, so it's really
Mm-hmm.
beautiful to see how like the neurons link each other and create patterns, which is which I think that's the reason of a whole affirmation, right? It creates a pattern that it later affects how you see yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And in the book that we're all reading, which is The Effectiveness of Our Life, right? So he talks about that we basically have to be able to use the power of positivity and presence, using our emotion, being able to get very specific and making it personal, the ways that we're able to actually make a change is if it feels like we're making this emotional altercation within ourselves, not just blatantly saying like, I am rich, I am powerful, I am, you know, a dog. I don't know, whatever you want to say. It's like just so random. But if you don't actually feel into it or you don't feel like it's something that is actually altering you or like, whoa, like that feels heavy. Like I do suffer with the ability to speak my truth, or I do struggle with my ability to stay present or grounded. And when we start to make it emotional and really bring it to this present, it feels like, well, like this is directly to me. And what am I going to do about this? And I think that he really tries to make it seem that way so that people can actually feel this sense of connection to what they're saying. Not just kind of, oh, let me just say my affirmations, but it's like, no, like, let me feel into this. Let me breathe into this. Like, what is coming up for me? And I think that when we have this holistic sense of like what I'm feeling, what I'm saying, what I'm doing, that's when we can actually start to walk that path and align and embody that higher self. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. You're internalizing it and you're actually bringing it to yourself instead of like this exterior thing, like, oh, that's what it is. That's what I should be versus no, I am worthy of being like this and I am and I can be. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, definitely. So I love vision boards, and I think that it's it's a super fun and dynamic visual affirmations. It can be like sensory. Yeah, it's like this like accumulation of everything, you know. So basically I'll start off like if anyone doesn't know what a vision board is. So vision board is basically like a big poster board or a piece of paper or even a digital format where you bring together all these different types of images, really specific images and words, graphs, or anything that is really just key to what you want to manifest or embody or embark in your future. So, what I basically do is about either 2 to 3 times a year or even monthly as well. You can do this. There's no really specific time that you have to do this, but I basically get a big white poster board and I have fun with it. I print out a bunch of images online that are just really specific, whether it be like specific people that I want to work with, or like what I want my kitchen to look like, or how I want to, like, how much money I want to make every month or in the year. Um, I put images of like places I want to travel to, places in nature, specific words that are affirming to me. I put mantras, and I really have fun with it, you know. I think that that's kind of the key to being able to actually attract and embody all of these things is if like we just make it fun and we make it dynamic and open, and it's not like I need to do this and I need to do that, and oh, this is like the strict, structure that I need to, walk this path, because life isn't like that. Life is always constantly shifting and moving, and there's all these different experiences that are not really expected. So I think by having an open and just creative, flowy vision board, we're more easily able to actually connect with it and feel like it's inviting instead of like, whoa, like I actually haven't done like any of that. And I said that I would, but I'm not. So then it feels more like um, yeah, it feels more like demoralizing or kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Like you feel like you kind of feel let down by yourself, you know? So I think by making it more just inviting, it's super powerful. So some other ways that you can be able to connect with it is by again making it personal, making it open, having maybe even actual images of yourself on your board can be super helpful to be able to actually connect with it and be like, well, like I can actually achieve that. And I've actually done some of the things that I said I was going to do. So then it kind of boosts your self esteem, your courage, your confidence. Like, whoa, like I said I was going to do that. I said I was going to go here. I said I was going to, you know, step out of my comfort zone, and I did some of these things. And by actually putting images of yourself up there, it it really helps you to actually make it into reality and feel into it. So some other tips I have is make it fun, do it with some friends, maybe you go to nature, maybe it's like you bring a bunch of images that you have like ideas for you and your friends, and you make a vision board together. I know we did this as well with you and your sister Monse. We all got together and we made like this really open and fun, dynamic,
Yeah.
colorful vision board, and we hold each other accountable every
Mhm.
month, and having like that stable foundation and actually connecting it with people that you trust and you love and that have similar goals and aspirations as you, it's super exciting, and it makes it feel like, well, like I'm not in this on my own. Like there's other people and other friends that I have and family that actually want to achieve more with me and want to grow as humans. So I think, yeah, those are definitely some powerful ways, and I encourage everyone to make a vision board and just have fun with it. Be open. and get excited.
And be intentional, right? Really important to be
Hmm.
intentional. Because right now I do have my vision board, but I feel like I don't even look at it anymore. I just wake up and I'm like, I get started with the day, you know? And
Yes.
what I've seen throughout this interview and like throughout, like every time I talk to you, you're very intentional with everything. Like, even if you're eating, you're intentional with your food, you know? And I feel like that brings a lot of that brings a lot of peace, which I it's something that I really admire about you, like how you flow with all your goals, but at the same time you put in the work, you know.
Yes, thank you. That makes me feel so good. And yeah, it takes practice, you know. Some days I'm not as intentional or, things happen, life kind of gets throws you in the way, or we react and stuff. But I think always coming back to self and being able to be like, well, like I'm a human, and having compassion and understanding that everything is energy and it's not so much like what you're doing, but the intention, the energy you put into it, the way that you're feeling, the way that you're moving, it's like you can really transform anything that you're doing just by the way that you're doing it, you know?
Oof.
There's like this really good saying I heard, and it's like basically talks about how no matter what you're doing, no matter if you're doing the job you want to do or the career or a task, do everything the best way you can. It's like how you do anything is how you do everything. So I really took that with me, and I'm like, well, like even if I'm doing something I don't want or things like that. Of course, there'll be moments, I throw a smoothie in my car. I'm like, no, or something. But yeah, right. It goes out the window. But no, just like for example, like with jobs I have or being a nanny and stuff like that, even though it's not like directly something that I feel like, oh, this is my dharma or something. I know that it's part of the process and it's helping me become the person that I need to be to embody that. So I do it with love. I do it with passion and I'm open and I'm fun and I'm just like doing it to the highest, most best way that I can because if I slack off on that, then I'm slacking off at the gym and I'm slacking off on what I'm eating and I'm slacking off in my relationships. And it starts to spill into all of the other aspects of your life. So that's why I really believe in like this holistic sense of living and just loving whatever arises. So,
Wow. You changed, I've never told you this, but you changed my perspective. One day we were talking and you told me that how you express about a certain situation affects everything. How you see the scenario affects how you see the task. So that was really, that transformed my
mm,
life, and that made me aware that hey, like I choose to see this certain scenario, this certain task, either in a good light or something negative.
hmm,
So
yeah,
thank you for that. And yeah,
yes.
thank you for being here. I really enjoy your talks and I learn a lot from you. Definitely have to live life with intention. That's something that I have to remember every single day. But with that being said, thank you for being here and thank you for spending time with me. I know that we're always together, but it's still beautiful to spend minutes with you and hours with you and days with you.
Yes. Yes,
So
I love this. This is so beautiful. I love you so much. And
I love you
I'm
too.
really grateful that we get to embark on this journey together and always learning because, there's so much learning to do. And that's the beauty of it. It's like taking it step by step and being like, well, like, this is an opportunity for me to be like amazing at this, whether it's something that I love or not so much. So, yes, and I'm just really grateful. Thank you so
Cheers
much.
to always growing together. A little
Yes.
cheers to that.
Cheers.
And with that being said, thank you everyone. Hope you enjoyed the episode and remember to hug yourself every single day. And I'll see you next week.